Sukkot is a 7-day feast. But then there's this thing that's connected to it, the 8th day, which is interesting because if Sukkot is 7 days and then you have this other thing that's connected to it, why wouldn't it just be its own thing? Why would it be like day one? Like, why do we have this thing that's attached to Sukkot, but not attached? It's referred to in the scriptures as the 8th day, even though Sukkot is 7 days. So when we think about Sukkot, Sukkot kind of have two kind of things that we look at in terms of its significance. We think about the wilderness experience, which is really our life, our life as we become purified and made to be who the Most High wants for us to be in the wilderness on our way to the promise. But the other aspect of Sukkot is the idea of the wedding feast, right? When Yeshua went away, he said to his disciples that he was going to go away and prepare a place. So when he comes back, then his bride will dwell with him, right? So when you look back at the way that they did things back in the day, you had betrothal, you had that covenant that you made with your soon-to-be wife. We think of it as engagement, but it was more official than that. The betrothal, you literally was in contract with the husband, and the bride were in contract with each other at that moment of betrothal. So, but the husband didn't dwell with the wife. He went away. He got everything squared away. He went and got his little house. He secured all of his, whatever he had to secure for them to be able to live. Maybe he got some animals or something, and maybe he got like a little job and put some money together or whatever. And then he made the situation right and he brought the wife in, right? But when he did that, they had the wedding feast. They had a feast and they celebrated the coming together and the dwelling together of the husband and the wife. So when we think about the idea of Sukkot and its kind of end time significance, is that wedding feast, that time when our master comes and returns and dwells with us. But we know that when it talks about in the scriptures about Yeshua returning, he returns for that millennial period. And then after sin and all of that's done away with and everything's finished, it talks about eternity, the eternal kingdom. So when we think about the eighth day gives us the idea of that last day. If we look over at, let me see this. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Revelation. Revelation 21. Revelation 21. Let's see. 21 and 22 and 23.
And I saw no dwelling place in it for. Is that?
Oh, Yahweh.
Yeah. Yahweh El Shaddai is its dwelling place and the Lamb. And the city had no need for the sun, nor the moon, to shine in it, for the esteemed of Elohim lighted it, and the Lamb is its lamp.
So when we think about the time that we're dealing with, when the glory of the Almighty is the light, we don't need the sun anymore, right? There's no need for the sun. The sun in its cycle gives us the days and nights, right? If we only have day, if all we have is light, we don't have a need for the sun anymore. We're talking about the last day. The last day, right? No more days. So when we think about the significance of the last day, we're talking about eternity dwelling with the Almighty, in perfection, right? Forever, for eternity. So when we are able to make it to that place of eternity, right? We have to be able to work our way through the wilderness and make it to that last great day. We have to make it through this life existence and make it to that place where we're with the Almighty forever. So that's what we want to talk about right now. Let's look at John chapter 7, 37 through 39. John 37, 37 through 39. You can read that when you get it. John chapter 7, 37 through 39.
In the last day, right?
Yep.
And on the last day, the great day of the festival, Yeshua stood and cried out, saying, if anyone thirsts, let him come to me, and let him who believes in me drink. As the scripture said, out of his innermost shall flow rivers of living water. And this he said concerning the Spirit, which those believing in him were about to receive. For the set apart Spirit was not yet given, because Yeshua was not yet esteemed.
Okay, very good. So when we think about looking back at Yeshua, and he was sitting up here talking at the last day of the festival, the last great day, and he started talking about this idea of being thirsty and drinking. And then the writer lets us know we don't have to think about what he was talking about. The writer tells us, and this he said concerning the Spirit, talking about the Spirit being poured out. So we want to talk about here this idea of thirst, being thirsty, right? How many thirsty folks we got, man? I'm thirsty right now.
I'm always thirsty. Right to the Spirit, and I'm
So we talk about being thirsty, right? But when we talk about real thirst, when you get to the place when you're really thirsty for something, you do whatever you got to do to get that thirst quenched. It's not like a passive thing, like I'm kind of thirsty, and I get around to it. I'm gonna go over here and get me something to drink. Now, if you thirsty, it's like, where's the drink at?
Yeah.
How do I get to it? When you get there, you thirsty, you just be drinking that stuff like crazy. Like you might drink too much, make your stomach hurt because you're so thirsty.
hot sun beating down.
You know what? The only time I really experienced thirst like that, really, I think, was like football practice, especially summer practice, because it would be so hot, and we would have all those pads on, and you're sitting there losing all that water, running around in the heat, helmet on. In the back of Bashir, they had this huge hill that we had to run up, and then like we had these drills that we had to do. And you know, the coach would blow the whistle, and we had to do the drill, and then clap. And then if you could have did the thing, but if you didn't clap, you had to they just pointed over to the hill, and you had to run over to that hill, and then you had to run over there till you gonna walk. So you had to run over there and run up the hill, get back in line, and you couldn't even have a chance to be tired because they still at it, blowing the whistle. You go do the thing. That's the time whenever I was so thirsty. Those times when you're sitting up there losing all this water, it's hot, and they have the little thing over there, the little hose with the little. We drunk out the hose back in those days. We ain't had water bottles and none of that. There was a hose that was hooked up to like some PVC with where water's poured. That's what we had. You was over there drinking that water because you was thirsty, right? You couldn't wait to get over there. Throw your helmet off, get over there, and get to that water. But that's what Yeshua's over is saying. If anyone thirsts, he didn't say is anyone is just kind of a little bit of wetness on their mouth. He said, if anyone thirsts, that word in the Greek literally means thirst, to thirst or to be thirsty. But guess what? When you look up this word thirst, the word literally means the first definition that you found when you look up thirst, according to Webster's 1828 dictionary, says a painful sensation of the throat occasioned by want to drink. So you have this urge, this thing, I must get something to drink. Like a baby, like babies act like they're going, there's nothing else that these babies want except for you to sit up there and put that drink in their mouth, right? You have this extreme desire for this thirst to be quenched. This is what we need if we want to, it says over here, if anyone thirsts. There's another thing, but I'm saying we're going to talk about the other thing too. But out of his innermost shall flow rivers of water. So if we want for rivers of water to flow out from the innermost parts of ourselves, the first thing we got to do is be thirsty. Not just, it's not a passive thing, it's an aggressive thing. I want that thing so badly. I can't wait. Somebody better not be in my way as I try to get over to where the water's coming out. There's nothing else you can do. I got one objective, and that's getting that thirst quenched. But he's saying over here, that's the thing that you need to have in order so that you can have. So it says, as the scripture said, out of his innermost shall flow rivers of living water. We're not able to get to that other part lest we have this whole thirst thing taken care of.
Y'all ever been behind somebody in the water fountain and they just playing with the water, like flicking it and just like, just playing? You thirsty behind them. And it might even be like a little kid. You like, man, if they don't get out the way, that's how you gotta be. You know what I mean?
What I noticed is when you're thirsty like that, for the most part, It seems like he responds to that. Well, he does. For me, he responds to that way faster than that. That's the way I've experienced. Like I've never. He responds way more faster to that thirst for water. Like that desire, like he responded. For me, he responded. Even when it comes to like help me with this, he'll put it directly in front of me like that next minute. Or I want to answer to this. Ever since then, I'm like, I flat out, it's like, this is me what you want. That strong desire to just get things faster.
Yeah. So I'm saying that I don't know what else there could be besides having this thirst, this strong desire. The lackluster thing, he don't want that. He don't want the lackluster thing. He wants that strong desire. That's the thing that's what Yeshua's advertising over here. That's what he said. He said, if anyone thirsts. Another thing we can look at, let's look over at Exodus 19:5. Exodus 19:5. Here, read it in the King James first and then read the scriptures over here. Because there's something else. Exodus 19:5. Read the King James on that.
Exodus 19:5. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
Okay, this is interesting. So that said, if you, what did it say? Obey my voice indeed.
Yes.
That's kind of, it's, I don't think that's really expressing what we're looking at over here. Because when you think about this idea of being thirsty and having a strong desire, there got to be some emphasis and some intention involved. Now, when we look at this in the Hebrew, what we see is what that word is, Shema. We say Shema all the time, right? Shema means to hear, but it also means to hear with obedience. So even though you're hearing, there's proof that you're hearing because you're doing what I said. I'm talking to Hiskey and I'm saying, go over there and get me this, that, and the other thing. And then he's doing that. Look, he's looking at me. I know he didn't hear me. Because if he heard me, he would have got up and go get the thing, right? So there's action involved with the hearing. So in the Hebrew over there, it says Shema, but it says it 2 times, back to back. It's doubled up, right? If we seen that in the Hebrew, what it says is, and now if you Shema, right? Because in the Hebrew, they don't do like, what's some adjectives or something?
Like
Vary. What's vary? Is that an adverb or what is that? Huh? We talk about this all the time. What is it? Varies a proposition? It's an adverb. I think it's an adverb too. Whatever it is, it's something that intensifies the verb, right? Hebrew don't have that. It's emphasizing it. But he adverb. Google. We have all knowledge. Google. We Googled it. It's adverb. So the thing is that in the Hebrew, it gives you it 2 times to give you that emphasis. So not only do we already have the action that goes along with the hearing, the obey, the Shema, but it's giving it to you 2 times so that you're able to understand that this thing, how it says in the scriptures version, it says to diligently obey, right? Because it's giving you that thought of I have to not only obey, but diligently obey, right? So if we don't diligently obey, if we do not diligently obey, how we going to be this treasured possession above all the peoples? Because it said, if you diligently obey my voice, and shall, is also something extra too, and shall guard my covenant. First, you got to diligently obey, and then you also got to guard my covenant. Then it says, you shall be my treasured possession above all the peoples. So when we look over here at these things that the Most High is saying for us, He wants for us to actually be serious about these things that have Him involved in it. He's ready to make this covenant with you. He's ready for you to be this treasured possession above all the peoples. All the earth is His. So all the earth is mine. But I'm ready to do this thing with you. All you gotta do is be serious about it.
Very
Yeah, very serious.
All or none.
0 or 100.
0 or 100.
Actually,
So the same thing is true when we look over here at what Yeshua not saying nothing else already been said.
Right.
If you want the Most High to be manifest in your life, if you want out of your innermost rivers of living water to flow out of it, then you got to be about my business. And this got to be priority number one. So when we think about what this time represents now, it represents, because we're in a dry zone now, right? We done had all the feasts, it's done. And we're month number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You got 5 months. So we got more feast days. Well, we got the everyday Shabbat feast. But I'm saying these extra things that give us these extra, we got 5 dry months. Right? We got to be pressing in and being serious and being thirsty and looking for the water and drinking it and drinking till your stomach hurt. Right? Matthew 5 and 6. Let's look at Matthew 5 and 6. Matthew 5 and 6. You look at that version right there. Shot.
Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, because they shall be filled.
Okay, so I think it's safe to say that if you don't hunger and thirst for righteousness, then you won't be filled. Because the opposite is true. If you do hunger and thirst for righteousness, that's how you get filled. If I'll take a snack. I'm not really that hungry. Let me just get a little snack. I don't really want a whole meal. You know what I mean? Little appetizer. Let me get some of those them wonton tacos things. I don't need a full meal, just a little something. Right? It said those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. This is how we got to be about righteousness. You got to be thirsty. I don't know what these young people be talking about, this whole thirsty business. But yeah,
they get that from the scripture and just pervert it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand this young people talk. But I think it's bad. I think it's bad when you're thirsty.
Yeah, like it means that
I don't know how you young people.
Like, you sweating somebody too much. Like, quit acting thirsty.
Or they'll say the girls are thirsty when they're like being super provocative to get something.
Yeah.
But if you
hold on. So if somebody's like really provocative with the situation, trying to get that catch, that's thirsty then.
That's it. Like the later term is like a girl, especially nowadays with social media. Like the young girls are not taking regular pictures like this.
The
They're
thirst
straight
trap.
Right.
doing
Yeah. Like
shots to
yeah.
the side.
Extra
Yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
extra.
Look, yeah.
Yeah, but regardless of what they're doing, the thing that they're doing is trying to be extra so that they could get more attention.
Right.
Right, so they see
So it's that extraness.
The first thoughts.
So that
Yeah.
extraness on the positive side, look at that. When you're searching for the most out, you're trying to get your life.
Well,
together.
he's saying-
You're supposed to be so extra to get this attention. Like, look at me.
But we saying it's not extra though. It's regular though.
Right. And I-
Oh, what is it?
yeah.
Oh, desperate. Oh, that's good. I like that, desperate.
But if
Because
you-
we talking about righteousness.
Right, yeah, but if you think about it, right, the desperateness of the world and the thirstiness of the world, they're always thirsty. They're always looking for something, right? They're always
They-
wanting something, some
They
attention
gonna
or
always
something.
beat that.
But it's unrighteous, so they're never filled. So if they were thirsty for righteousness, then they would be filled. And that's why you see a lot of people out here empty. They thirsty, always wanting something, always looking for it, but it's unrighteous. So they're always empty. Always empty. Always looking.
Come on, crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have to keep these things in mind. We have to make sure that we got our thirst situation where it needs to be, right? Because we could be thirsty for a whole bunch of stuff, can't we? We can sit up here and do all kinds of things to try to get this or that.
Mhm.
Let it be that thing that you trying to get, whatever that is.
Right.
I don't know what it is. You know what it is.
Mhm.
You know that thing that it don't matter what.
Like,
Oh, they got-
soon as I get that thing,
They got some of that over there. You talking about they got that over there?
Yep.
Come on, let's go. We going there right now. We going straight over there to get that thing. But we not like that about righteousness, though.
Yes.
Oh, it's all I gotta do is just I got the book. It's right over there.
Right.
I can just I'm gonna go get that thing first, and then I'm gonna go over and open the book after I get
I
back.
pray every day. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray my Lord to soul and keep.
We got to be it. There has to be a strong desire for this thing, or you're not getting the benefits. You're not gonna get it. He's not gonna sit up here and just for a little bit. The entrance fee is strong desire. That's how you get in. If all you got is just this light little interest, he don't want that. It's a hunger and thirst. He said over here, all you that thirst, let that one come to me. Yeshua, that is. Anyone who thirsts, that one come to me. And let him who believes in me drink. So when we think about this idea of believing, it's interesting that they have it like this. Let him who believes in me drink. The person who believes, there's some action that goes along with the belief. Belief is not just a thing that happens in your mind. Like you tell me something, I'll be like, yeah, I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
They got some good sandwiches over there at that one place. Yeah, I believe you. Ain't never been down there
Right.
to get the sandwich.
Right.
I don't really believe them.
Or might have the sandwich, but never take a bite.
That's even worse. That's even worse. That's even worse, but it's like that. That's even worse, but it's like that because you got everything that you need just right here. You got the sandwich just right over there.
Got it.
You got the drink, you won't even sip it.
Got the drink. Like, yeah, here's the drink.
I'm saying that isn't what belief is. Belief ain't that. Belief ain't something that just happens in your mind without any action. Belief, there's action attached to it. I believe what you're saying, therefore, I'm going to take action after the fact. You tell me about something that's good, I'm kind of into stuff that's good. I kind of eat things that taste good. it might not be the best thing for me, right? But when you tell me that thing is good, I'm gonna go try it out if I believe you. If I don't believe you, I ain't been to that one place up there by Paisanos yet. A little Jamaican spot.
Yeah.
I ain't been there yet. That's not
The
what I want.
the brown stew chicken.
I don't want to. That's what I hear. That's why I don't believe in it.
Right.
Right? Because if I did, I'd be up there. Okay, see, maybe I'll check that out. But the point is that this thing is more than just something that's going on in your mind. There's action that's attached to it. And it says it's laid out just like that. Let him who believes in me drink. He got the answer to the problem. The problem is that you're thirsty, that you have a strong desire for him. Over here, we talk about the spirit. You have a strong desire for his spirit to be in you and operating in you. And it says out of his innermost shall flow rivers of living water. So he got these waters, these rivers of living waters ready to flow up out of you if you only would just strongly desire to get a taste of it.
And then drink.
And then drink. And then drink. We're not even going to sit up here and talk about this too much long. Isaiah 55. I want to talk about this a little bit. Isaiah 55, 1-3. Because this is where we're at. This is how we think about the feast days. They give us a full picture of salvation altogether. And once you got through the whole thing, now you got to sit up here and live your life. Now you got to sit up. You done been redeemed. You've been justified. You've been bought, right? You had your sins forgiven. All of these things. The Most High comes and he dwells in you. Now you got to go out here and live your life. Now we got to go out here and deal with the world. We done had our time over here where we could forget about anything that got any so-called air quotes meaning in our lives. We forgot all about that stuff. But unfortunately, we got to go back to those things. Mm-hmm. So what are we going to take with us that's going to have us to be able to move through these things victoriously? It got to be this thing that Yeshua is talking about. Mm-hmm. These rivers of living waters that's flowing from the innermost parts of you. Mm-hmm. It got to be that. Otherwise, you're not gonna make it through. Mm-hmm. Isaiah 55, 1-3.
Oh, everyone who thirsts, come to the waters. And you have no silver, come, buy and eat. Come, buy wine and milk without silver and without price.
Hold on, wait a second. This right here, this always gets me, right? Because when we look at this over here, it don't make any sense what it's talking about. It's telling you to buy something, but you ain't got no money. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. Let's go out here to the store. How much money you got? Well, I ain't got no money, but I'm trying to go over here and get some of this stuff from the store though. It don't sound right. But over here, it say over here, look, you got no silver. Don't matter. Just come on. No silver. But why can't it just say, all right, you don't have no silver here, I'll just give it to you. Mm-hmm. It's still getting bought. Right. It's still getting bought, but you ain't paying for it, right?
Yeah, it came with the price.
It costs something. Yeah. There's a transaction involved. It just ain't coming from you.
Right.
Where was you at?
Buy wine and milk without silver and without price. Mm-hmm. Why do you weigh out silver for what is not bread, and your labor for what does not satisfy? Listen to me and eat what is good, and let your being delight itself in fatness. Incline your ear and come to me. Hear, so that your being lives, and let me make an everlasting covenant with you, the trustworthy, loving commitments of Dawid.
We have to understand fully what it is Messiah is doing for us, so that we're able to go out here and live in this life and not have all of these different kinds of things that's holding us back. The stuff over there costs, but you don't got to fit the bill. That's what he did for you.
Yes, thank you.
So we sit up here and we got all of these problems in our life and these things they're pulling us down and they're blocking our situation. We sit up here and we have all of these things that's messing up it's just messing up everything. Why can't I just get this thing over here taken care of, or this thing over here, and we're stressed out? Guess what? Yeshua is able to give you the strength and the ability to be able to just go and make it through these things if we just go to him and allow him to do the things. Right? We're sitting up here talking about this stuff over here, and we look at these verses here. You who have no silver, come and buy and eat. We sit up here and we look at these impossible things. That's I can't even do. Oh, I can't. And we talking about things that you gotta eat. You gotta eat. Why is these basic things that we go through in life the most things that are like the most impossible things that we go through in our lives? But these are like basic things that the Most High, if we trust in him, he's going to direct our path and make these things possible for us. But we got to make those, we got to take that initiative, right? And desire, we have to truly desire to have him be in our lives and be that guiding force that's taking us through. Why do you weigh out silver for what is not bread? Sometimes we sit up here and jam ourselves up because we sitting up here not taking care of things the way they're supposed to be taken care of. We got these needs over here, but you got these other things over here that's not bread. That's not food that we spending our silver on, and then we lacking over here, wondering why. I'm saying that when we say that we are making Yeshua our master, when we say that he is the Lord of our lives, when we say this, that looks like something in your life. And we have to, and it's a continual process. It's not like a one-time thing. It's not like you believed in them yesterday when you went down in the water. You believed in them yesterday, but then you believed in them while you was getting changed in the thing. And then you believed in them when you got up here, and when you went to bed, and when you woke up, and from now until evermore. It's a continual thing where you just keep on doing it. And you keep on proving that you believe, and you just keep on drinking. You just keep on drinking.
Hey, you know what? And if this should happen, if you should stumble, don't be discouraged. You get back up.
Yes.
So we what we want to leave on, the note we want to leave on here is that we have to, each and every one of us has to get to the place where, I'm saying each and every one of us has to get to the place where if you learned one thing, you learned one thing. There's one thing that you learned while you was up here that could make your whole life different and better. It just makes it just for nothing if you don't take advantage of that thing, whatever it is, and do it from now on, right? Because that's growth. That's growth. There's no other. When we look out and see plants and all of that stuff, and Yeshua, when he went and he saw that fig tree that was over there, and it was at the time whenever it should have some figs on it, and it didn't, he cursed the thing. It's good for nothing. We can't be like that tree. When it's time for fruit to be produced, there should be some fruit being produced. Like we have to grow. When you don't grow, there's a blockage. There's a blockage going on. Something's stopping you. Something's blocking you from growth. Right?
Yes.
It seems like you're dead if you're not growing. But we're alive. We're made alive by Yeshua, right? But then, so if we're not growing, even though he made us alive, then guess what? That's not you believing every day, right? So I'm saying that we have to go around. I'm saying when we get back over there, we have to remember these things. Now, I'm not saying not what I'm talking about here, this whole thirsty thing. That's just one aspect of it, right? Because we got to be thirsty for Messiah, but there got to be now this other thing over here, because you only know what your situation is, where you are in your situation, and this thirstiness that I'm talking about is only going to get you to the place where you're doing this thing over here that you know that you need to be doing, whatever that thing is. But when you don't do that, we just wasted a bunch of time up here. I mean, we just had like a little vacation or something. I mean, vacation was nice. Had some good company while we was up here, right? We ate good. We talked about the itis and everything else. But if we not moving to another level, whatever that level is, then it's just a waste. It's a waste of time. And Yeshua over is saying that there got to be a strong desire for the things that's connected to him. So that's the thought that I want you guys to have in your minds when we going back over here, is that we have to be 110% about righteousness. It don't look the same for all of us, but the part that does look the same is moving forward. Go ahead.
So there was something you touched on when Yeshua cursed that fig tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did Yeshua do anything that didn't have a purpose? So if you think about it, we're supposed to be producing, right? So if you ain't producing and you playing games, backsliding, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, why won't he just curse your tree so it withers and dies? And you have a lot of people out here that, moving, supposedly believers and whatnot, and then they die. Like, dang, he was a good person. How you know his tree wasn't cursed and he ain't died?
Mm-hmm.
And so y'all, us, not y'all, we, it ain't time to play games, because he could tell your tree to stop growing, and then you be in the ground somewhere. You know what I mean?
Or just agree with you that you ain't doing nothing.
Right.
Not even like he doing nothing to you. He just agreeing with you that you ain't doing nothing.
Chris, you tell them how they go about to bear good fruit?
How do they go about being a good fruit?
Yeah, explain that to them.
By doing
This is what we talking about right over
talking
here.
about the whole
Drinking that drink.
Yeah.
He's the one. Yeshua is the one who is offering himself to you as the quencher of your thirst. When we allow Yeshua, and he wants to get up in you, right? And he wants to fill you up so that you can overflow. But if you ain't filling yourself with Messiah and his goodness, if you're not filling if you're not looking at the scriptures and letting this thing and meditating on this thing day and night, if you're not doing that, if you're not letting your everyday be about Messiah and the scriptures, and then in between you got life going on in between. If you're not doing that, you're not going to overflow with rivers of water. You're not going to produce fruit if you're not filling yourself with Messiah 100% of the time. We have to be gluttons for Messiah
Yes.
and everything that he got for us. And if we're not going to be these rivers of living water. We gotta, when you talk about rivers of living water, you're filled up to the point where you're overflowing.
Yes.
If you're not filling yourself, how you gonna overflow?
So bringing it back to tabernacles, we all had cups, right? And John, Teresa, everyone who spoke, pour something in your cup this week, right? So who gonna drink it and who gonna just let it sit in the cup?
Okay, Chris.
You know what I mean? So when we leave here, that cup should be gone. Everything that they done poured in your cups, our cups, we should be, leaning that back, and there shouldn't be a drop left. And then we should be applying all that was poured in us.
Yeah.
Can I say something? When you drinking that cup, be mindful not to spit it back. Okay, because I can give y'all good things about it. But it's not like there's nothing bad. You understand? Because while we here from the world, when you go back in the world, Satan's going to push up waiting for you.
Yeah.
You will be tempted. So expect that. Bearing good fruit. In the beginning, Adam and Eve was taught to be fruitful and multiply. Yeshua is saying bearing good fruit. When you bear good fruit, yes, you're acting in sync with Yeshua. You're being filled with Yeshua. But that's not just it. You being a light to a dark world, and you showing them the path to righteousness. And in doing that, bearing good fruit also involves the Great Commission. The Great Commission is to spread the good news to the corners of the earth. You understand? And when you do that, you will bear good fruit so somebody can see you. You won't only be a talking ministry, you'll be a walking ministry.
Come on now. Come on.
That's what I wanted to explain.
I wanted to add something too. And ours is being the sowing season. And encouraging everyone, if you can grow your own food, flour, something, because the scriptures connect a lot of references to growing things. So we talk about this being a sowing season. And when you go to plant actual seeds in the ground, most people encourage you to put 2 or 3 seeds in each section because not everything's going to take. It's just how it goes. It's just how it takes. So I just want to encourage everybody.
Hallelujah.
Yes. So as many seeds as you can. Not every seed is just
Come on, ladies. Run those seeds out.
And but then also too about the fig tree and us bearing fruit and being thirsty, also growing food. If you've ever not watered your can tell. It literally withers up.
Where there's a way and dies, it dies.
If you're not continuously watching it and looking over it, pruning it, doing whatever you gotta do, it goes.
Yep.
It goes.
Practice make perfect. Practice make perfect. Just like an athlete practicing boxing. I used to box, and you hit the camera. Many times you become good at it. You know, when you hit the canvas a lot, you learn it. You know, you don't just give up. You know, when you fall into sin or temptation, you don't give up. You get down, dust yourself off. And what I found, I don't know, it might work for you, but it should work very well. What I usually do, first thing when I get up, when I pray, I ask y'all, what is it you want me to do today? Because this is another opportunity to make you more happier. You understand? I'm serious about that. I ask him to send people my way, send me to whoever he wants me to speak the word to. I said, I can't see everybody like you can. What do I do? Sometimes you give me the horror too. I'm always running into Muslims.
I'm always running into Muslims. Our face is older than yours. That's the first thing they say.
So we got a lot to take with us, right? We got a lot to take with us, and so all I want to say is that let's just do that. Let's actually take it with us, and let's put some of this stuff into action, right?
Hold each other accountable.
Oh my goodness. So yeah. So there's that. So okay, so hold on a second. Okay, so yeah, just hold on a second. Okay, so